Hey beauty bunnies, so today's video is really a requested video. It's a brow tutorial video. Let me just say first of all that I'm not going to say this is the correct way to do your brows because everybody's brow is different, and that this is how I do my brows. I have two ways of doing them, and I'm going to show you one of the ways that I do them majority of the time. So what you want to do is, I always start off with a clean canvas. The only thing that's on my face is moisturizer. There's no foundation. Obviously, you can see my acne scars. So, yeah, my eyebrows have been waxed freshly. And the first tool that I use is this eyebrow brush. It's an eyebrow groomer brush. And I just slightly make all the hairs go in the direction that I want them to go in. Next thing that I use is Maybelline's Define a Brow. Okay, and this is in dark brown. What I like about this is the tip. It's very pointed, and it doesn't need to be sharpened, so that's one of the great things. So what I do is I start from underneath here, and I just build that line under my brow, and then I start at the top part of my brow. Don't worry if you go over, that's fine. We're gonna fix that. Okay. The next thing that I do is I fill them in. I start in the middle when I'm filling in with the exact same pencil that I used to draw the bottom outline with. You see that? Just very lightly taking the Maybelline Define a Brow pencil and filling that in. Now that you have them like filled in a little bit the way you want them, I go back in with my eyebrow brush. You can use a spoolie if you like, and I start from in the middle where I have all of the color, the majority of the color, and I just brush it out. And I bring the color back up to the front and erase the harsh lines that I made earlier when I was outlining my brow. Now that I've pretty much gotten rid of the harsh lines, I would normally take my angled stiff concealer brush. This is a very stiff brush. Okay, you're gonna need a stiff brush, stiff concealer brush. Doesn't have to be angled. At this point, you can use or grab your favorite concealer. I use either the Maybelline Pro Longwear concealer, and this one is in NC42, or you can use any cream concealer you have. Today I'm going to be using the Inglots creamy concealer. This is in DW100. There we go. Just to show you, how I normally do it on an everyday basis. I use the Pro Longwear concealer if I have like a function, if I'm going out or something, but I just use a random everyday concealer if it's just going to classes or something different. What you want to do is you take your angled brush, concealer brush with the concealer on it, and I like to start at the bottom and a little ways away from my brow. So taking that angled brush and going like how I was making the outline of my brow earlier, and that's pretty much the line that I make with it. I would say don't use too much concealer when doing this part of it, because it can really get in places where you don't want it to go. So as you can see, I pretty much made my perfect outline to really define my brows. I don't use this method every single day, only when I want my brows defined, in case like if I didn't get them waxed, or if I, like I said earlier, have a function. So that's pretty much the only time I use this method. And there are your brows. Pretty much arched the way you want them. And now that that part's over, what I do is I take my brush like this, okay, and I go back on that line and I just pull that color down. Okay, and that gives you that defined brow shape. And then I do the other one. And the main reason why I pull the concealer so far in here is because of my acne scars are in the middle here. Like, I want to conceal them as well while I'm doing my brows. So let's go back at the top, and all I'm doing is pulling the color. Pulling that color up. I've seen people actually leave the concealer as is, which is not a good look. So all I'm doing is sweeping that concealer up. Okay? Pull and sweep. And then when I'm done with pretty much both of them, I take any of my fingers and I just pull the color and move it to the side. But this is probably one of the most important parts because you want to blend that color out. And this is what you want to make sure gets done. You want to make sure when you put your pencil here that it lines up there. It lines up where your arch is, and it lines up where your arch ends. So that's pretty much what you want to do. And you can see like a really big difference when you use the concealer method for your brows. It's a big difference. Okay, so I'm going to do the next one in case you missed it. This is all I do. My fingers are probably my most important tools when I'm using my brows, when I'm doing my brows, because they pretty much smooth out everything. They pretty much warm up the concealer and get it to move where I want it to move, to go. You see how clean that is? And if you have any other spots that still have concealer on it, you just take your brush and your fingers and you move the concealer to where you need it to go away. And again, get here, take that end of my brush and I pull up. Sweep and pull up. Okay? I try to do this as quickly as possible. You need to have a straight hand when you're doing this as well, so as to pretty much get it the way you want it to. And that's all I do. Sweep that concealer up and away. And the most important space is in between here to conceal wherever I need it to conceal. Now let me say this, you guys. Your brows are not supposed to be twins. They're supposed to be sisters. So I've seen people who want to make their brows identical, and that's not what the goal is. The goal is to get them as close as possible, but not exact, because when you look at it and your eyebrows are exact, you look fake, and that's not what you want. Okay, beauty bunnies, so there you have it with my brows today. Just pretty much wanted to show you guys how I do my brows. Again, it was a requested video, and if you have any questions in terms of, you know, what I use, what I've done, if you want to see the other two methods that I do, you can leave a comment about it and let me know. Okay, beauty bunnies, talk to you later. Bye.